Okay, it is 8:30. We will call to order the June 15th virtual meeting of the Michigan City Public Board and Works and Safety. For the record, all board members are present. Mrs. Keating, Mayor Perry, and myself, Keith Harris. Amber LePage, our attorney, is present, as is Gail Nylab, city clerk, and there are some others. Chief Cooney, Assistant Chief Cooney is here. He's on our agenda today. Hopefully Skylar will be joining us soon. But first, approval of the minutes from our June 4th meeting. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Support.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of our regular meeting from June 4th, 2020. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have request for solicitation of bids. Approval of the bid packet. Jeff Wright, city engineer, is requesting to solicit bids for the York Street reconstruction and approval of bid packet. I think you've all received that. I just need a little clarification. Mayor, maybe you know better, have more information than I do, or understand it better than I do. It looks like this is a pricey project, 600,000 plus, but there's federal monies involved, and the engineering is all being done in-house, so we've saved over $100,000, and the rest, it's coming from one fund or another. I wasn't quite clear on that.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to elaborate on that if I may. This is the only project that we are going to do this year, and as I said before, I put a moratorium on all capital expenditures. This is not, about 10% of this is coming out of our budget. It's going to be funded primarily, as you said, through federal funding. And because we include it in the scope of work, rather than just resetting the brick, leveling the street and resetting the brick, we are replacing stormwater sewer in that area, which is going to be paid for by sanitary district, and water lines in the area, which would be paid for by the water department. So and then that, coupled with the federal funding, leaves very, very little that the city's involved in. So that's the background behind that project.
Yeah, Mayor, this is Skylar. This is funded by Community Crossings. This is a state grant, Community Crossings grant, is what it is.
Thank you, Skylar.
And yes, it did save us quite a bit of money, about $113,000 to have Jeff do this in-house. He did the surveying and the design all in-house. So I would say it's nice to have an engineer that can draw like that.
Okay, thank you, Skylar. Does our attorney have anything to add in regards to this at all?
I've reviewed the bid packet and I am okay with it going out, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Amber. Any other questions from the board?
No, I have a comment, though. I just want to clarify for the public's sake that this is going to be between Barker and to Homer Street, and the project is going to last 90 days. And I want to commend our engineer for his in-house engineering, which saved us $113,000.
Thank you, Mrs. Keating.
Ms. Keating, this is Skylar as well. We plan on having a meeting as well, me and Jeff, with the people that live to the west side. There are some houses there. We will meet with, I think there's 5 or 6 houses. We will meet with them at the school. We're going to set up a little public meeting with them, since they're the ones that are directly impacted. And we already met with Dave Williamson from the school. So we've already met with the schools to tell them to talk about the days it's going to be closed, alternative parking, etc.
One other question, Skylar. Will you also be putting something in the newspaper so that the community will be aware of the closings?
I think hopefully we'll write hopefully yes. I will say yes. Hopefully it will be more of a story about the project rather than just a simple legal notice. I hope it's more of a write-up, So.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I will add to what Skylar said for Ms. Keating, that we are going to publicize this project because this improves the neighborhood. Skylar and Mr. Wright talked to the residential property owners along York Street, reviewed their parking situation around their property, and we are going to improve that as well to its overall neighborhood improvement. That's our goal.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Skylar, did you have something else to add, or?
I just might add that the beauty of the Community Crossings grant is that it's a surface project grant that allowed us to actually redo this brick street. We otherwise probably would, typically communities, they love to preserve their brick streets, but they're very expensive to replace just for sheer labor costs, rather than asphalt. So this grant allowed us to do this project. If without that, we probably wouldn't be redoing a brick street just for sheer cost. So.
Okay, thank you, Skylar. With that, if there's no other comments or questions, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for solicitation of bids and approve the bid package for the York Street project.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have application for a vendor license. Mo Muro. I'm not quite sure how to say the last name. Maru. Okay, thank you, sir. Mo and Me LLC, 806 Long Beach Lane, is requesting a vendor license for a Mediterranean food truck at the corner lot of 7th Street and Wabash from June 1st, which of course is passed, to December 31st, 2020, Thursdays through Sundays, 11:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. I know there were some questions. I think, Skylar, you might have had some comments on this, as well as Amber.
Correct. Yes, I did. So the ordinance has a when we wrote this ordinance, and I'm not opposed to community or truck vendors or mobile. I won't say truck vendors, mobile food vendors at all. We needed this ordinance because we were confronted with a lot of mobile food vendors, and we started having issues. Not issues, but we needed something to kind of control where they're at, where they're placed, where they park, etc. So I remember when we wrote this ordinance, we put in there that there's the outcry was being next to restaurants. There was really a brick and mortar versus mobile. We put in there a radius, and I can't remember the exact wording of the radius, but I know we put in there 300 feet. And I just want to make sure that we're I guess abiding by that 300 feet with respect to the other restaurants that are there, and that they have a chance to voice. Are they in favor? Are they in opposition? I just want to make sure that we're being fair to them, if you will. That's my comments.
Thank you, Skylar.
I have a question, Mr. President. This is the first I've heard of this. 7th and Franklin, or 7th and Wabash. That's just down the street going west from the ice cream parlor, right? Cabo's?
Yeah. It'll be a block north of Cabo.
Yeah.
Meyer Lanes.
Well, it's right next door to Lang's,
Okay.
across the street from McGinnis Pub.
And down the way from the boathouse, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Correct.
I would have been much more concerned if it were just a couple 100 feet from either Cabos or Guinness or the boat. But what do we need to do on this? I don't want to. He wants it from Mr. Maru wants it from June 1st, which we're already past that date. But like Skylar said, normal procedure is to request feedback from the neighboring residents and businesses. If we haven't done that yet, I think this approval needs to be tabled.
Well, Mayor, might I expand on that? This is the circumstances that we're dealing with are this Zoom meetings. Typically, when we have our public meetings, I wouldn't say that this is not meeting the muster of a public meeting, but I feel like it's just a little bit easier for, I don't know, to notice everyone and for everyone to get on, for everyone to be heard. This is just an unusual circumstance with respect to the Zoom meetings and the online. Anyways, that's my last comment.
Mr. President, may I make a suggestion?
Certainly.
I might suggest that the board table this until July. It's my understanding that we intend to have meetings at a location that can hold public in July. And also, I believe the board could identify the businesses in the surrounding area and give them specific notice of this and when the hearing will be held. The other thing that I know the application was missing is I don't have the actual LaPorte County Health Department permit. It was the application attached to it, so we will need the actual permit as well.
Can I interject a few things? This is Kim Riley. I'm the owner of Momura LLC. I just
Certainly.
want to make a few corrections for you, if you don't mind. First off, Momura is not an owner of this food truck. I am 100% owner of the food truck, and he is only an employee. Also, it was my understanding that the radius was only per same cuisine. I thought that this was only, we had to be 300 feet away from the same cuisine, so it would be like 50 versus Cabos or Boathouse or et cetera. Another thing is, if we're not able to have like a physical location, can I just have a permit to be able to park wherever? If what I'm saying is that this is the season for the food truck. Once our weather becomes cooler again, I'm no longer going to be able to have business. And if we're going to be pushing the meeting out until July, my season is basically over, and I'm completely losing on this truck. And I was hoping that you would find consideration in my request.
I heard the tail end of what you were saying, what the lady was saying. Did Ms. LePage, did she respond that they do have a LaPorte County Health Department permit?
I have the temporary permit. They have cashed my check, but I have not received the full permit. Pat Wozniak said that this temporary permit is suitable until I receive the actual permit in the mail. I can reach out to her one more time saying, hey, I haven't received it yet. Maybe it was misplaced some way in the mail. As soon as I got this, I was planning on forwarding it on to you.
That's fine, but our ordinance doesn't specify specific cuisine. It just says if it's in direct competition with any type of goods, wares, merchandise, or services.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't specify, if somebody's serving tacos versus somebody that's serving hamburgers. It's just, it specifies in general terms, it could be very well interpreted as food versus food.
Okay, sorry, that was my misunderstanding on that. Is there any way that I can just get a permit to park anywhere besides this specific location?
No.
No, and again, our ordinance doesn't allow just anywhere. We've got to specify where.
Okay, because I have heard from other people that they were able just to receive a permit and they did not have to specify a location of service.
Never happened.
No, we haven't approved anybody.
Thank you for done that.
You
Never
were
happened.
correctly, ma'am. I'm sorry for that, but you were informed.
Now, I will say this. This is Skylar. Kim, people have turned in 3 or 4 locations that they had gotten approval for. So they were like, on Monday, I'm going to be at this, Monday through Friday, I'm going to be at this location. On the weekends, I'm going to be at this location.
Oh, okay.
They had done that. They had put forth like 3 or 4 locations with different days and times. I believe we had done that before, and I want to say that Jermaine did that with the Jamaican truck.
Oh, okay.
But it was still specific locations, and they were trackable, if you will, locations.
Okay. Did he have to appear at a meeting for his permit?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Okay,
And I believe.
Mr. President, I make
I'm sorry.
a application.
Go ahead, Skylar. Go ahead.
I was going to say one more thing. Just we have not. I know that some people, the food trucks set up inside the mall. We do not control the mall's property. Just going to throw that out there. That has always been left up to them to control what they put. So sometimes they have a food truck there inside Lighthouse Mall. That has always been the purview of the mall. We don't regulate. We've never regulated their food truck people, if you will. Well, people with respect to where, having a food truck there. Just
Okay,
want to throw that out.
Thank you for your information.
Mr. Mayor, you had something you were going to say?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. I make a motion that we table this pending the conditions that were referenced by Ms. LePage are met. Table it till our next meeting.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Can I ask one quick question, sir?
Yes,
Does that mean that I'm not allowed to operate in Michigan City then until I get this permit, correct?
that is correct. Unless you go talk to the owners of the mall, like Skylar had mentioned, and see if maybe they would okay a spot for you in the interim for the
Okay,
next couple of weeks.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have approval for additional employees. Ron Landtroop, A Slice of Heaven, is requesting approval to hire additional employees on his vendor license. I believe he's turned in all of the appropriate paperwork with who it is he's going to be putting on board. Do we have any questions or comments? Or motions?
Just one question, Mr. President. The additional workers are going to be at the location that has been approved for him, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Amber, do you see everything is in order with this?
It is, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the request to add additional employees for A Slice of Heaven on his vendor's license.
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we'll move on. There's a request for a street closure. Stephen Gropp with the South Shore Freight is requesting approval to close Grade Public Crossing to aid in its renewal to increase public railroad safety, June 16th to 18th, starting at 6 a.m. And I'm looking for the paperwork to tell you exactly where that is. I know that I had spoken to Captain Lineski, and he had no issues with this request. I'm looking for the location of the closing. My apologies. Barricades. Is anyone seeing anything that I'm not? I
just location, yeah.
Yeah, I was not able to find the location myself. That was my question as well.
Tyler, are you aware of anything with this?
I am not. I did not see a location either on there. I don't know if Jeff's out of town today. I don't know if he had been in contact with them or if he knew the location. I feel like he would have told me something about this if he'd had a contact with him. So.
Okay. Now I know they want to do this beginning tomorrow.
Excuse me?
I believe they want to do, yes.
There is a map attached to this.
Yeah, I'm struggling to make sense of the map.
Let me look at it real quick to see if I can make sense of it real quick.
It looks like it's off of Michigan Boulevard on Walnut Road. Wonky Road, sorry.
Yeah,
Wonky Road.
I was going to say in the application, it says Warranty Road closing.
Okay.
Oh, okay. My apologies. I did not see that.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry, Skylar.
That makes sense because I know they just did the railroad at Mott's. Maybe they're working their way back toward Michigan City, so that makes sense. That they would work, that would be probably one of the next logical places they would go. So.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments from the board?
I believe last time, this is Skylar, I want to add one more thing. Last time we were worried that it was going to be closed for like a week or something like that. They did the work in like, I think a day and a half, 2 days. So it wasn't very long.
And I think they're specifying here June 16th through the 18th.
Yeah.
So just 2 days.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A question, now what they're referring to here is renewal to increase public and railroad safety. They're rebuilding the crossing, is that what they're doing? As far as we know?
That's what they did at the business park on Mott's. They took out the crossing, and I believe they put in new railing, and I don't know if it was concrete they poured, but they basically made a safety upgrade where it just improved that. Yeah, they didn't take out much, just enough to get the railing in and improve that intersection.
Okay, thank you. That's necessary occasionally because that freight does take a toll on crossings.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the railroad crossing beginning June 16th through 18th by South Shore Freight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have request for destruction of city property. Dave Cooney, Chief of Operations with the Michigan City Police Department, is requesting to destroy property no longer needed by the Drug Task Force, destruction of computer and video equipment of the city's IT department. It's been deemed unusable. What he has on his list are 5 outdated video cameras. And those are sitting in our office right now, just waiting for approval. And as a side note, because this does involve the IT department, I will be abstaining from this vote. Chief Cooney, are you still online? You had been earlier.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Do you have anything to add, Chief?
No, I do not. Just the equipment list is what we have, so.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
I'll come back to it over here on top of Chris.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Hello?
There we go. I think she's coming back.
Okay,
I just saw her square light up.
who was that?
No video, 219-873-1419. Here we go.
Okay. Hello, can you state your name, please? Well, apparently we don't.
Well, then let me pose a question to either Chief Cooney or you, Mr. President. These video cameras, they have no use for anything whatsoever? They can't be reprogrammed for another purpose, or?
No, these are, the age of these cameras are, they've outlived their life. We have removed the memory cards from the cameras. They will probably need some destruction because I believe there are internal memory cards as well that cannot be removed. So that's just to make sure everything is been, no one can access anything. But these are very outdated cameras.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
I'm assuming all the relevant data has been downloaded for any criminal cases before the same has been destroyed?
I'm going to say yes, but Chief Cooney, do you have anything to add regarding that question?
Yes, everything's been cleared off the devices from what I understand.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Question for Chief Cooney. Cleared off is synonymous with downloading, correct?
Correct, so anything left on the devices are blank now. There's nothing on there that can be retrieved in any way.
Okay, but the electronic files that were on the video cameras have been preserved somewhere else.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, then I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and once again, I have abstained from this vote because it involves IT. Next is just a piece of information, just to announce, and this goes back to April 26th. Captain Rob Schaefer from the Michigan City Fire Department retired back on April 26th after 20 plus years of service. This is just for informational purposes only. So good luck to Mr. Schaefer in his retirement. Next, we'll move on to the claims docket for June 1st, 2020. We have municipal claims in the amount of $1,255,172.54. Workers' compensation, $30,345.73. Health and life, $193,174.04, for a total claims for June 1st of $1,478,692.31. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the claims in the total sum of $1,478,692.31. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we move on to the payroll docket from June 1st of $220,156.26. Any comments, questions, or a motion?
I'm sorry, the payroll docket, I just saw a fire truck and an emergency vehicle go by toward the beach, which always concerns me. I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And now we have the June 5th city payroll total of $555,981.44. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the city payroll for June 5th in the sum of $555,981.44.
Okay.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to board comments. Do we have any board comments?
None for me, thank you.
Nothing here.
Okay, thank you. I just have a question for Amber. As you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, that we might be going to public meetings here come July. I know there was something with the governor's order. What can you elaborate for us on that?
I believe that Mayor will be issuing some directives here, either possibly this week or the next week. But the intention is to have meetings start next month.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Your fire truck.
If there's no other comments, then I would ask for a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
And since the mayor stepped away from his chair, I will second that motion.
Councilor Browning.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.